Kia ora, I think we'll just get going. Welcome everybody to our Poutama Ara Rau series, the second seminar for 2019. So we're really excited to have the brilliant Dr. Karyn presenting today. For those that don't know, she's a senior lecturer into Timu, and she teaches into our Te Reo Māori papers, tikanga and performing arts papers. Haramai. Come in. She's also the co-director of Poutama Ara Rau alongside Jacinta Ruru and Suzanne Poutama. And as many of you will know, she has a strong commitment to implementing mātauranga Māori and Māori pedagogies across the tertiary sector. In 2014, she was also awarded the Prime Minister's Supreme Award for Tertiary Teaching Excellence, and has recently become a mummy to the gorgeous, beautiful little wee manuhau. So today, Karyn will share some of her insights and experiences of going back into the classroom and being a student of Panekiretanga, or Te Reo, ko te whakaiti, te whare o te whakaaro noi. Please give Karyn a warm welcome of applause as she talks about her seminar series, Karanga, Kīwaha.
Tēnā koutou katoa, koutou kua whakarau ka mai ki konei I tēnei rā. Tōiri ana te au te mama o te rua ngārihu o te reo o te Panekiretanga. E wahani te mate o tō pāpā poia. O te rā koutou katoa ngā te koura o ngai tūhoe. Ka tīkina te rā ngā kupu o te karaua nei hei whāriki mā tātou I tēnei rā. Ko te whakaiti te whare o te whakaaro nui. Ka tino kitea taua whakaiti e noho mai ana I a koutou. Ko tō koutou mate, ko tō mātou mate hoki. Nō reira ke te mihi, ke te tangi. Mōkori anō hoki ka rere a mihi ki te kāhui tangata I taunaki mai ai I tēnei manu kai mātauranga. Kia whakatutuki tāku I whai ai te taukua hipa nei. Ko te tumu tēnā, ko te OMD tēnā, ko kōmene kururangi tēnā, ko taku whānau, ko aku tauira, ko koutou anō hoki tēnā, nō reira, kei te mihi atu ki a koutou. Thank you, Inano, for that lovely introduction that you plagiarised from my stuff that I gave you for this seminar. Welcome everybody to our, I think this is our second seminar for our Poutama Ara Rau seminar series, E Kore E Hapa. I've called it Karanga and Kīwaha because I hate Karanga and I hate Kīwaha, and those are the two main things that we did at Te Panekiretanga. I don't know why I hate Karanga, because up until I'd done Panekiretanga, I'd never done Karanga before, but I really definitely hated Kīwaha, which is ironic because I used the Kīwaha E Kore E Hapa as the title for our seminar series, to show that someone truly believes in what they're about to talk about. So we'll crack right into it. Te Panekiretanga o Te Reo started in July 2004 and shut its gates for the last time on the 10th of August 2019, so just last weekend. In the 15 years it was operating, it produced over 300 graduates, each equipped with the desire and determination to create change. A change that the masterminds behind this program hoped would raise the level of excellence in Te Reo Māori amongst our Māori language speaking population. Graduates known as Ika Āwhiro are from every iwi in this country and infiltrate every sector of society. So we are lawyers, accountants, teachers, principals, musicians, actors, news reporters, TV presenters, tāmoko artists, academics, ministers, and soon to be one of our PhD students, CEOs, researchers, district health board workers, policy analysts and independent contractors. And we work in both mainstream and Māori sectors, so we're not just all Māori sectors workers. We have all been instilled with a sense of responsibility, duty and care to contribute to the revitalisation of Te Reo Māori. Beyond this, we are also parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews, and cousins. Many are tribally driven and tasked with maintaining the mana of their marae by fulfilling certain duties as kai kōrero and kai karanga, the two main roles that the creators of Te Panekiretanga wanted to improve in. Most are urban-based in positions of community responsibility. Others are national public figures. We work full-time, or we study full-time. We are full-time family members. We are full-time community members. And every month for 13 months, 32 of us left all this behind for 3 days of intense learning. Not to receive a degree or a diploma. Someone asked me, what do I get out of it? What degree do I get? What diploma? I'm like, nothing. That's not the point of the program. But to learn from Māori Din's greatest living treasures. And at this point, I do want to acknowledge Te Timu and the Office of Māori Development for the financial assistance, for getting me to Hamilton every month, as well as paying for the course fees, as well as allowing me the time. I know I was on maternity leave for 5 months of it, or 3 months, but just also the space during the working week and to mentally prepare myself and do some of the assignments that I needed to do. So thank you to the Office of Māori Development and to Te Timu as well. Our decision to participate in Te Panekiretanga was not one taken lightly, and from the outset we were told that. We were made very aware that when we walked outside of the gates of Rarawera, of the campus in Te Rapa in Hamilton, our actions were now representative of Te Panekiretanga. If we were arrogant, if we made mistakes, if we were ignorant, it was a reflection of Te Panekiretanga and our tutors. And we needed to ensure that we were, and we did, none of these things. Of course we make mistakes, but it's mistakes out of arrogance that are a little bit different than common mistakes. Te Panekiretanga was started by Sir Timothy Karetu, Professor Poutama Ara, and Dr. Whare Milroy, and supported by, under the mantle of Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, and supported thankfully by Pānia Papa. She was our saving grace throughout the whole entire program. Leon Blake, Karyn line, that's what he looks like in real life too. It's not just a freezing shot of the camera. And Pakake Winiata, although his assistance throughout this year was a little bit less than I've heard in previous years just because of time commitments. Their intention right from the beginning was to improve the quality of kai kōrero and kai karanga on the marae. That was the initial intention. For 10 years, Te Panekiretanga was based at Te Reo Tāwhaki Marae in Napier, under the auspice of Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. At that time, Koro Wetere was in charge. When Jim Mather took over, he decided that the course should be moved to Hamilton and run from Rarawera, the campus at Te Rapa, underneath the Silver Surfer. We've nicknamed him the Silver Surfer up there on front. Te Panekiretanga was named by Te Pepish, one of the first graduates of Te Panekiretanga. Panikere is a bluff on the eastern side of Waikaremoana Moana, from which all three of the three founders can whakapapa back to. Pau also said that pane is your head, is your upoko. Kere is the fontanelle, as another word for the fontanelle. So it's about being able to receive that knowledge directly from the iho matua into your head. There is a certain view about Te Panekiretanga that it's elitist in its outlook, but don't expect Māori language experts at Te Panekiretanga o Te Reo to apologise for that. So that was in 2008, and I would say that that still exists. That sentiment still exists. They won't apologise for that because they've been hand-selected to participate in this program. They already had language at a certain level of ability, like really excellent level. They committed to 13 months of study and travel from all over the country to one of those two places. So there was a lot of backlash, a lot of contempt, a lot of jealousy, and a lot of misunderstanding about these new words that were being created that the rest of the country didn't understand. They weren't new words, they were words that had been in the Williams Dictionary since the 1800s, and Panekiretanga was just an avenue in which those words were being brought back to life. I will confess that I was one of those people. I didn't say anything bad about Panekiretanga, I just didn't understand its purpose, and now I do. The purpose is not just about improving deal. We didn't go there to learn sentence structures. We already had a certain level of language when we went into the program. We came to learn to improve our language, kia tika, kia rere, kia Māori. We also came to raise the expectations, enhance the commitment to be resolute in our determination to do better and be better for Te Reo and for tikanga. Okay, so students are invited into the program after their name has been submitted for consideration by a previous graduate, by a previous ika-awhiro. So language skills must be on par with the ika-awhiro, and that person who nominated you will be severely reprimanded if their nominee fails to deliver on the course. Every month was a different kaupapa, so alternated between two focus. The first noho would focus on reo, and then the next one would be tikanga, and back and forth, so forth. Wānanga reo were run by Timoti, so we did things like grammar, corrections, translations, and the dreaded Kīwaha. I say dreaded Kīwaha because my brain is so trained to be quite, I don't know, it's really different trained to what Kīwaha trains your brain to be like. And I struggled until the 10th month of the 13, where I could finally understand everything that Timoti was saying, because we'd spent 10 months doing Kīwaha, and he speaks in Kīwaha. And then we have Po Temara doing wānanga tikanga. Po was my favourite, more so because he just used to sit there and talk, which forced me to have to actually listen, because I feel like when I just kind of drift off of people speaking in English, and I can come back and still get the gist of what they're saying by their concluding sentence. Po has no concluding sentences, and it just is one big long narrative where if you don't concentrate, you miss out on half of what has been said. So they had two completely different ways of teaching, and it was great. He also called me doctor. I think that was just because he didn't know my name. He forgot my name, but he called me doctor every single time he saw me. Every month we followed a set structure. So we'd have kai, would get there, set up, have kai, and then go into pōtapu, which is where Tainui would facilitate how the night would go. So from the very outset, I said to someone, thank God I'm not male, thank God I'm not Tainui, and thank God I'm not a male from Tainui, because they carried the burden, the load of pōtapu and poroaki and karakia every single morning for the whole entire time that we were going there. Then we would go into class, and sometimes class would go till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. We wouldn't go much later past 2 o'clock, but I have heard that other classes, other stream ranga, have gone till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we used to be cheeky and say, man, are they that dumb that they need to go? No, I'm just joking, we never said that. We may have thought it, but we never verbalised it. And then same thing would happen the next day. Get up, karakia, go for breakfast, and then classes would start and would go till whenever they decided that we were ready. So even if we sat there and they said, any questions, and we had none and we weren't asking any, they'd just keep going on until we were forced to ask questions, because that was their teaching methodology. Just keep talking until people ask questions and engaged in that discussion and debate. Assessment. So for the reo wānanga, we didn't know about the assessment until 2 months before we did the assessment. So the curriculum was whatever they wanted it to be. The assessment was generally set for, especially for the tikanga ones, but for the reo ones, it was kind of like, well, here's what you're going to do. And we said, it's not written in the book, which is over there. And Pania said, this is the book. We are telling you what your assessment is. So our students see this is so lucky, because we give everything to them in the course outline right at the beginning, not on Panekiretanga. So we had a translation into English, a translation into Māori test. Needless to say, my translation into English was great. The other one, not so good. Kīwaha. So we would be given 20 Kīwaha with 15 sentences, and we had to choose the right Kīwaha for the gaps in the sentences. So sometimes one sentence would be gap, comma, I see Locke going, what? That doesn't work out, 2015. No, sometimes sentences would go gap, comma, gap, gap. Okay. It was just like, well, the other 3 left over and I'll try and put them into the right order. So I was, and then we would have kōrero tēnei, which we didn't find out until that day. For the tikanga, it was much more my style because Po was taking it and he's a professor at Waikato University for however many years, so he was very academic in his approach to his assessment. It was great. Semina, which Tangi Mātāmua marked, and then we got into this whole debate on whether Māori should be taught at universities, and I said yes, coming from someone who doesn't teach Māori in the university. Well, I don't think he does. A 6,000 word essay, which I completed when I was in hospital having her. And then the dreaded Karanga whai kōrero test. So that was 50%. There were percentages attached to these. There were no percentages attached to these. We just had to get 90% in all the tests. One of the main things about Te Panekiretanga was ko te reo kia tika, ko te reo kia rere, ko te reo kia Māori. So everything that we did, we had to constantly strive for our language to be correct. Whether it was in writing, speaking, and just in grammar and translations and things like that. Translations into Māori and translations into English. Our English had to be just as good as our Māori. Kia rere, so it was spoken in all places and at all times. Okay, so on our very last night, Timonti said that you'd be hard pressed to find any place in this country, any marae in this country where Māori is spoken 100% of the time by every single person. And kia Māori. Māori te wairua me ngā whakaaro te reo. So thinking in a Māori, from a Māori point of view, in a Māori way, which isn't necessarily the easiest thing for us to do when we work in and live in the spaces that we do. We also had to subscribe to the adage, ko te whakaiti te whakaaro, te whare o te whakaaro nui. Humility is the citadel of the wise. You can tell that that's a Poutama Ara translation or a wharehue translation, citadel of the wise. So at times, we as ika awhiro, as graduates of Te Panekiretanga, may possess knowledge, skills and understanding that surpass that of our kaumātua. We must remember that despite our desire to put what we know and have learned and experienced into action, it should never be at the expense of our kaumātua. It should never be at the expense of the mana of our kaumātua. And it is the job of humility to extinguish the flames fanned by eagerness. Because in accordance with tikanga Māori, our kaumātua have overarching mana. Right or wrong, they still have the mana. At the same time though, kaumātua have the responsibility to support the development of up and coming generations, because within them are the skills needed to elevate the mana of their hapu and of their marae. So at times they do need to move aside and allow the new generations to fulfil speaking roles on the orator's bench and to act as kai karanga, because by doing that, by moving aside, they will ensure that the mana of their hapu and marae is protected after they have passed. On graduation day, we went down to the river. I was like, oh, gross, do we actually have to get into this river? It's Waikato River after all. No offence, Thomas. But we didn't have to. We just had to stand on the side, and I don't know what was worse. I think I'd rather stand in there on my feet than get splashed in the head with, like drips of water going down my face. I was like, oh. And we were asked 4 questions. Me mate au ne tātou ki a tātou, mo ake tonu atu haere ake nei. So we have a responsibility to one another forever and ever. Amen. Ka mau tonu i ngā whāinga o te Panekiretanga me whakaiti. So we should hold on to the objectives of Te Panekiretanga, and the main one being me whakaiti, humility, humbleness. Me kaua I matapeko, me whakaaro tātou ki te maria. We shouldn't be stingy with the knowledge that we have, but we should share it with everybody. Which is probably one of the things that I got the most in terms of my job as an academic, as a teacher, and sharing that knowledge with my students. And not necessarily grammatically, but also the way they operate and the way that they conduct themselves. And also on the knowledge that I have some students this year who would be amazing students in Te Panekiretanga, and they're never going to get that opportunity to do that. And they looked quite saddened when we talked about that last week, and knowing that they'll never have that opportunity. So it's our jobs as graduates of Te Panekiretanga to give them that knowledge. Aha ko haere ki hia, me kanohi tātou i Te Panekiretanga. So no matter where we go, we are representatives of Te Panekiretanga. Yeah, so this is graduation day down at the river. Probably the most surreal experience. I don't know if I actually believed in tohi before then, or I'd never had experienced one. But after that, when Parāone started doing karakia and his voice echoed back, and then we saw, I don't know, something coming out of the water, I became a believer in that whole process. And as Matthias said, it wasn't to convert us to any religion. It was to ensure that the knowledge that we had been taught and been gifted and handed down over the past year would be instilled within us. It also served dual purpose, because when Te Panekiretanga was taken from Te Aka o Tāwhaki, from Napier or Hastings over to Hamilton, the Māori of the course was instilled in a rock, and it was set on the wall of Rarawera in Hamilton for the past 5 years, and that Māori needed to be taken out of the rock. So our tohi at the river served a dual purpose of taking the Māori out of that rock as well. After that was just pōheri for our whānau and presentation of certificates, which, I mean, I could quite happily have gone for breakfast after this and be done for the day. But that was for our class to enjoy by ourselves, and then we needed to also acknowledge our families and friends after that. So my experiences, I was fortunate to be nominated by Kōmine Kurerangi, who is a lecturer in Māori Studies at Canterbury University. He was also my former kaiako at Te Wānau Aotearoa when I would travel up there once a month to Christchurch for Aupiki and Pinaki for 2 years. He's also a really close friend who I've known for 15 years, who knew that I struggled with certain aspects of reo in terms of Kīwaha and had never done karanga. And in January last year, it was when he first asked me and kept bugging me every week until I said yes, just do it. And every month when I was away in Hamilton, without fail, he would message me to see how I was, to give me insider tips on how to deal with each of the different kaiako, and to allay my fears, like, it's okay, I told you, Kīwaha fine. And then he would just spout off, oh, Kīwaha. He will be beginning with his PhD with us next year, with Poya, well, I don't know if Poya knows this, but with Poya and I as the supervisors, and that's koina taku mate mate aiwani ki ai. That's my return of favour from the as much as you all think I know what I know, about Te Reo Māori and tikanga could be quite a lot. In comparison to the people in Mairanga, I know very little. That realisation came in the very first noho in July last year. I was like, wow. Timoti would go around, kohanga reo tēnei mahi, he kohanga reo, like this language belongs with the babies, with our kids. I was like, I never went to kohanga, so it's okay that I make these mistakes. And he's like, no, it's not. And it was a humbling experience to start back at zero again. Even though I wasn't starting at zero, in comparison to everybody else, I felt like I was even sub-zero. So it was humbling, and I used absolutely every opportunity I could to learn. Even if it was just sitting there and not saying anything, or watching how people operated and talked to each other and interacted with each other. As Poutama Ara Rau, as a research team, we're committed to the implementation of Māori knowledge and Māori pedagogies to ensure student success across the tertiary sector, particularly at Otago, because that's where we're based. But in order for us to do this, for all of us to do this, then we need to make sure that we are equipped with the skills in order for us to do that effectively. And for many of us, we weren't raised in an environment where that knowledge, where Māori knowledge, Māori pedagogies, Māori language was naturally transmitted to us. And we weren't necessarily fortunate to be raised with our grandparents and our and their generation, not just our grandparents, but also their brothers and sisters and cousins and stuff. I wasn't, but that's no excuse for us not to pursue avenues in which we can be recipients of that knowledge. We owe it to our students and to our disciplines to do that. So why do we need to push ourselves to do more? Professional development. We need to ensure that we maintain and enhance the knowledge and skills we need to deliver a quality service to our students and to our community. We need to recognise our weaknesses. Kīwaha, like I said, I struggled with Kīwaha because I have this, they're not logical in their sentence structure, they don't mean what they actually say. And so I struggled to be able to, like, for 10 months to understand. I could understand the gist of what Timothy was saying, and that's all you needed to do. But I didn't understand maybe 60% of what he was saying because he speaks in Kīwaha. But finally, after 10 months of working with Kīwaha, I got it. Can I spout those Kīwaha back at you? No, probably not, but I can understand what he's saying. Karanga, I thought I would struggle with this, but I didn't, because it helps that I was pregnant for 9 months and I wasn't able to do it. But but it actually gave me the time and space. That was my rautaki. It gave me the time and space to think it through and prepare myself. So for when I did do it, I just did it. And I didn't even have any second thoughts or any doubt or any fear that I could not do it. It's funny because I don't know why I'm so scared of karanga when I've never done karanga in my entire life. And my first karanga was in front of Timothy, Po, Praone, Leon, and Pania. Kōmini said to Po, oh yeah, karanga is something that she'll struggle with. And he said, tukuna mai e kia mate kiko nei, mokona I ora ai. So send her here so she can die here, but when she gets back out there, she'll be fine. So I consolidated at that moment, walking on to doing our test, that I don't stress, and I just channel energy into other things. I think I have far more other things to do in my life than stress about things. And stress is the way that you react to situations, and so I choose not to react in that way. And so I channeled that energy instead into making sure that my karanga was on point. Funnily enough, Pania didn't hear it, but I still passed. Why we need to push ourselves, the one thing was that, it was great to have a network of professionals, new professionals from all around the country. I learned that it's not good enough for me to sit in this ivory tower of Te Tumu and just get by with the knowledge and abilities that I have. In order to do my discipline justice and to give my students the quality educational experience they're paying for, then I need to do more. I learned that while I try my best, I need to embody what I've learned more. I do try, but I can do better. Thomas last year said to me, tikanga isn't something you learn, it's something you live. And that has been playing in the back of my head the whole entire time, ever since he said that to me last year. It's easy to see that there are attitudes towards each other, towards our students, towards our work that is fundamentally in opposition to what I've been taught, what I've experienced and what I've been exposed to. I can't change that in people, but I can bring those attitudes and viewpoints to attention, especially when they appear in contradiction to what I've been taught. If I don't, then I've just wasted Po and Timothy's time in the last 13 months. So I learned what it truly means to believe in something that's far bigger than me. And I learned to let the space between where I am and where I want to be not terrify me, but inspire me. Some take-home messages from Te Panekiretanga. If we don't care about our language, then why should anyone else? Okay. Too often, what we try to push for compulsory language in all these different sectors, but our Māori people are the ones who actually don't really care about it. So if we don't care about it, then why should the rest of the country care about it? People say, I really want to learn, but I don't have time. But I suck at learning languages. All I can say is, that's a lot of bullshit. We're all pushed for time. We all suck at something. And if this is something that you really want, then you will find the time and you'll do it. If you come up with a myriad of excuses as to why you haven't yet, then you really don't have that desire in you to do it in the first place. And that's absolutely fine. Putting it off for when you have more time, the time's never going to come. You just have to do it. Take home message again, C's get degrees. Not in Te Panekiretanga, they don't. We need to achieve 90% or above in all our tests in order to pass. That is the value placed on our reo and our tikanga. Whilst there's an expectation from Pou and Timoti that we achieve that grade, we also demanded that of ourselves. Did we do it? No. Did we get a second chance? Absolutely we did. You'll see, so, oh God, Kīwaha. The Kīwaha test, like I said, 20 Kīwaha, 15 sentences, matched them all up. If we didn't get 90%, so that was 17 out of 20, we got given our test back again. Then we had to go and sit in front of Timoti, and he would choose one of the ones that we got wrong, and then we would have to use it in our own example. I watched Leon walk around the room, giving him the death stare, like, don't give me back my test, don't give me back my test, don't give me back my test. And he didn't, so I got 17 out of 20. So I was like, yes! Nā wai B+, ka tahi ka C, C's get degrees, ka ori konei, ko te see you later ki. And I think we used to have a policy in the Timu where if you didn't get a B+ or a B in our reo papers, then you couldn't go to the next stage, which forced you to actually try. And a lot of our students do unfortunately live by that C's get degrees mentality. And then someone came back with, yeah, but A's get scholarships. Okay, so I don't know. I think we need to think about how we instill that in our students, how we instill that desire to be the best and to do the best and give our reo and our tikanga the time and effort it deserves. I can't force my students to think that way. I can only hope that they see that in the way that I conduct myself and what I do for reo and tikanga in this department. Gather your army around you, mobilise your troops, set a course of action and just do it. Okay. Pou and Timoti and Wharehuia, they just did it. They didn't wait for permission from anyone. They had an idea, they saw what was happening, they thought, how can we make it better? And they went away and did it. And 300 graduates later, they've now created this army who will now just go out and do it. My last take-home message, from here on out, your role is to ensure your children have access to the Māori world and what it might have to offer as opposed to the offerings of a Pākehā culture. And that was not something that Timoti and Pou actively told us, but they did in there translate these sentences into Māori and would have all these types of, you know, little things coming through. So the take-home messages were actually stuff that had come out of our monthly activities that repeatedly showed themselves. So I thought, well, these must be the take-home messages they want us to take away and ponder on. So it was great. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Would I do it again while I was pregnant? Probably, because what I now have for her is, see, she's like front and center of our photo at the dinner that night. What I now have, she was there, I was pregnant right from the beginning with her, and now she has a network of real professionals around the country who care for her and love her just as much as what her father and I do. So, pana taku kōrero i tēnei rā, tēnā koutou katoa. Does anyone have any questions? But it's just, I don't give you everything, just give you little bits and pieces of the program. She's good like that, she waits until I'm finished. Yeah.
not for you, but for everyone else?
Yeah, so I don't think they would have shut it down if they didn't have Where To Next. And at the moment, Leon and Pania, well, they're all busy developing a Masters in Māori language, which should be offered by Te Panekiretanga next year. So they're looking at various ways in which, you know, how many points, entry requirements, all that sort of stuff. And I did talk to them about our minds, how there's an entry into it from just having experience. So not everyone has to have a bachelor's degree to get into the Minds program. That a similar thing could exist for Te Panekiretanga, that, you know, 20 years experience with speaking on your paipai could be good enough to get you into this program, some Masters on Māori language. Yeah. Plus, a lot of iwi are doing this for themselves as well. And I think that's just naturally because the graduates of Te Panekiretanga have gone back out into their communities and gone back into their iwi and have becoming teachers themselves in their iwi. So yeah, I think, and Te Mātāwai as well, and their funding has created a lot of opportunity for iwi to do those things themselves.
Thank you, Karyn. It's very inspiring and challenging. I just wonder how you said that you're bringing it back into your teaching here in Te Tumu. Maybe speak a little bit more about that. And I know that you have your tikanga course running now. Just how that may have influenced what you're doing now, what you did 18 years ago. Yeah.
Well, I haven't taught the tikanga paper before. This is the first time. And in the past, it's been a guest lecturer every single week. And I thought, wow, the university didn't invest $20,000 in me travelling away to Hamilton to do this, to then turn around to get a guest lecturer in every single week to teach for me. So I thought about, in terms of tikanga, I think more about philosophy. And that's definitely something that's come from Po. I think more in terms of using my strengths in waiata and whakatauki and reo and paki waitara to teach tikanga rather than teaching it as a concepts and sort of like, this is manaki, this is mana, this is tapu, this is more. I don't have lectures like that. I have whakapapa, pūrākau, whenua, and try and look at the foundations of tikanga as being embedded in those sorts of things and how we can find it, rather than, you know, in tikanga by Hirani Moko Meat. In terms of reo, even this morning we were talking about, well, you know, why do people speak on the marae? To be a māngai to be the mouthpiece for your iwi. Now, what's the real reason that underpins why people you know, are kai kōrero? To welcome people. No, think beyond that. So getting students to think, and then they finally got it when I said maybe it starts with M and ends in ana. And they're like, oh yeah, it does too. And so getting them to think beyond just the surface level is probably one of the things that I've learned most about Panekiretanga. Yeah. And they're getting drilled on grammar as well.
And the dialects?
Dialects, yeah. There's so many Northerners, so many Northlanders in my group, and dialects was not a problem for Te Panekiretanga. And in fact, the teachers there probably knew more about some people's dialect than what the person did. That's certainly true in my case. But there's no reason why people shouldn't bring their dialect into the classroom. I can't teach their dialect. That's for them to go back and find from their own elders and from their own teachers.
I think you touched on that when you said we're going back to the iwi.
Yeah.
With their knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Sorry, it was so rushed. It was just like, it's been a week since graduation.
I would just like to give you a round of applause. Thank you for your brave kōrero about Panekiretanga, and sharing with us today with Poutama Ara Rau some of the things that you've taken on going back to the classroom. So thank you very much, KP.
See you later. And because I'm all about food, there's some pie out in the hallway. that feel free to grab yourself something and come back in here and eat. I don't know what my students are like when I teach them in the dark. I'll turn the lights on. And yeah, feel free to grab yourself something to eat and come back in here. We can chat some more, or pick something up if you've got another meeting or whatever as you're on your way out. Hilda.
We sign up sheet around anyone who's interested in Poutama Ara Rau, which is our research theme at the University of Otago. I don't know, Leonardo, have we had a...
No, but
sign up sheet? If anyone's interested? No, but maybe